Hi, my name is David P Shapiro. I'm the owner and managing partner of the law office of David P Shapiro, located in San Diego, California, where my firm helps good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. This video, I want to talk to you about what you could expect if you're facing charges in federal court, particularly in San Diego, arising out of the Southern District of California. Well, a couple things you need to know. First is federal court's not state court. State court, San Diego Superior Court, different thing. Obviously, both involve allegedly violating crimes. Federal court, different courthouse, different prosecutor, different experience from beginning to end. Well, let's break that down a little bit. First, who is making the decision whether or not to prosecute you in federal court? Well, that's going to come from the United States Attorney's Office. Those are the prosecutors. District attorney and the city attorney deal with state court. United States Attorney's Office deals with federal charges. The location of the courthouses are downtown San Diego. The federal courthouse is located on Broadway, right next to, actually across the street from, the Hall of Justice, as well as the San Diego Superior Court is located just one block away. So all the courthouses are located, sort of centrally located in downtown San Diego. If you have a federal matter in San Diego, it is going to be downtown, no matter whether the case started up in Vista, Chula Vista, El Cajon, wherever. Your federal court's going to be, it has to be, in downtown San Diego. Now, the other thing we want to talk about is, well, what happens in federal court, right? A lot of times what you'll have a couple of appearances before a magistrate judge. You'll be advised of the charges against you. You'll enter a plea of not guilty. You may have a couple of status hearings or a preliminary hearing here and there in the magistrate court, in the magistrate court's department, okay? Eventually, if your case gets indicted, okay, a grand jury hears the case and determines there's enough evidence for the charges to stick against you, okay, you'll then be rearranged on those charges, and eventually you'll make your way up to before a district court judge for what's known as a motion hearing and trial setting matter. That's when you're talking about trial. That's when you're talking about if there's any preliminary hearings going forward, and also the likelihood of when that trial would start. Now, you could also get before a district court judge if you were to enter a guilty plea before a magistrate court judge relatively early on in the proceedings. And this is a unique thing about federal court, where for the first time in this instance, you're before the district court judge. So this is a judge appointed by the President of the United States, will be when you're actually getting sentenced. So a lot of times clients struggle with that concept, right? I've never even been before this judge. How am I going to be sentenced by him or her? They know nothing about me. Well, that's a little bit different about state court than federal court. In federal court, it is an exhaustive process between a finding of guilt or voluntarily pleading guilty and when you're sentenced. There is an extensive federal probation interview. There's extensive deadlines, extensive amount of work that could be done, and motions and paperwork filed. So by the time you appear, in many instances for the first time before a district court judge at sentencing, he or she will be very familiar with your background, at least they should be if your attorney's done their job, and will be able to sentence you accordingly, relying heavily on the sentencing guidelines, which is sort of like a multiplication table. When we were kids, you look at what your base offense level is, the charge of which you were convicted of, what your criminal history score is, and then that gives you a range, and then a judge could deviate up and down from there. Hope this video has been helpful as pretty much a little bit of a primer of federal court in the Southern District of California, particularly focusing on San Diego Federal Court. If you have any questions, you yourself or a loved one are facing a criminal court matter, particularly in federal court in San Diego, give my firm a call, 619-295-3555.